I'm going to start by setting the model year to 1985. The body type I'm of course limiting to utility. With that, I will look through the options to find a good one. This one looks good, so going to choose it. Steel for the panel material. Chassis type will be a ladder frame, obviously. And as the material for that, I'm going with steel. Engine placement I'm making front longitudinal. And for suspension, I'm going to go with solid axle leaf spring front and rear. Engine will be an inline 4 cast iron block. Bore I'm setting to 92mm and stroke I'm setting to 89mm, which will give us an engine displacement of 2.4 liters when rounded up. Then overhead cam with 2 valves and aluminum for the head material. Cast for everything here and a harmonic damper for the balancing mass. All of this I'm going to adjust when tuning the engine, keeping the engine naturally aspirated. For the fuel system I'm going to go with multi-point electronic fuel injection per cylinder. Standard with intake manifold and keeping the fuel regular unleaded. Cast with headers to match the intake manifold, no catalytic converter and just a single baffled muffler. Then it's time to tune the engine. Goal is to get it to be as reliable as possible, up the quality all the way on a few sections, and then just played around with the sliders until everything looked good. And there is the finished engine with a reliability of 100. Then just going to do a quick test pull. And to finish it off, going to give it a simple name. 4x4 for the drive type, of course. Manual 5-speed for the gearbox. And for the gearing, I have a set of specific ratios already planned, so just going to put those in. For the differentials, I'm going with open. For tires, I'm going with radial, all terrains, for balanced on-road and off-road performance. And then playing around with the tire size settings until they look good. Keeping the rim material as steel. Solid disc 1 piston on the front, though later I will change this to 2 piston. And drum on the rear. All the sliders I'm adjusting later. No under tray and again adjusting the sliders later, though the only thing I would end up doing here was upping the cooling airflow to 70 to increase reliability. Just 2 front seats and a standard interior with standard 8-track, which I would end up changing to premium cassette later because it seemed more fitting. For steering I'm going with hydraulic ball, no ABS because who needs it in a pickup like this, and standard 80s safety. Later I would optimize the weight to be lighter and bring the weight distribution towards the front by 1. Finally, for suspension I'm going with standard springs and twin tube dampers. Then time to adjust everything I said I would adjust later on. Mostly had to focus on the brakes and suspension, with the rest thrown in somewhere in between. Goal with the adjustments was again reliability and making it good to drive. Just one last check through everything here and all looks good to go. With all that, it's time to throw some fixtures on this thing. We'll see you once it's done. Here is the finished result, featuring a roll bar on the bed with some fog lights mounted on top, 2 bumpers front and rear, and the front bumper has some more extra lights mounted on it as well. And finally, a really basic interior. Then just going to give this a name, pick up LX4. The LX4 standing for luxury 4x4 or something like that. And also decided to do some last minute setup changes, making the rear springs and dampers stiffer, and as a result of that had to adjust the brakes some more as well. Also decided to bring up the gearbox quality to increase reliability. Now I'm going to call this pickup truck finished. Time to export it to BMG Drive so I can give it a test drive. Here it is in BMG Drive. Get into the interior camera and start it up. Revs quite nicely. Now for the test, I want to go pick up this trailer from somewhere and deliver it to some location. Spawn the trailer at the sawmill, and as the delivery destination I decided on this watchtower. So marking the sawmill on the map as the destination, and it's time to get going. Should probably try to say some stuff about how this drives while driving it. It does get up to speed quite nicely. Braking definitely feels like you are driving a pickup truck, as does the steering. A nice big pothole coming up there. Good spot to test the suspension a bit. Going over it like nothing. Then just some chill driving on a small road. Feels good to drive, I'm happy to say. Okay, arriving at the sawmill. Going to stop here and put it in 4-wheel drive like so, and get going further into the sawmill's yard through this mud section. No problem. Then I'm going to reverse up to the trailer. So first stopping here and turning the camera around to see how the visibility is from the rear window. Good visibility, I would say. Got no problems reversing it up to the trailer. So I will go into the external camera view for the last bit of fine-tuning. Now just hooking up the trailer and marking the watchtower on the map as the destination, and we are off with the trailer. Stopping here before getting on the road to switch back to 2-wheel drive. Then time to see how this pickup drives while towing a trailer. So let's get going here. Turning onto the road and starting to accelerate up to speed. Doing it quite well here, even with the uphill. Braking for this turn. As I said before, they definitely feel like pickup truck brakes, but they are enough to slow this thing down even while towing a trailer. Just have to remember to start braking early enough. Okay, coming up to the path to the watchtower, going to switch to 4-wheel drive again, and having to do a hill start by using the parking brake. Easy enough to get going even in a situation like that. A tight uphill turn here. And losing traction a bit, but able to keep it going forwards. And here we are at the destination. Just going to reverse the trailer somewhere next to that log. Like that. Then just gonna leave that there and drive the pickup back next to the tower to get a nice ending shot. So yeah, I'm happy with how this pickup truck turned out. So wait one moment. I just realized something. I literally just built a 1985 Toyota Hilux.